Hey guys, I wanted to get on here for just a few minutes and talk about how I trade the stock market every day. I know a lot of people who are wanting to get into the market and they don't really know where to start, and it's been looking pretty bleak anyway for the past couple of months, which can be good in the long term because prices are lower and all they do is usually go up. So I'm going to take a few minutes and tell you how I trade every day, and that is with futures, particularly micro futures. I will say these are an affordable way for people to get into the markets and make a decent amount of money. Sometimes, if you're starting out and you only want to put in, $100 or something, you're not going to make that much. Even if you make 5%, which is a really good day on just a regular stock, that's only $5. But with micros, you can put in $100 and turn that into $100 in just a few minutes. I've attached a link to CME Group. There's a free simulator there, and you can go on and learn more about what futures are, because I don't have time to talk about that. I want to get into my strategy, but there's a free simulator on there, and I'll go in there and show you right now. I used it for a while, and as you can see, I made over $9,000 in a couple months doing that before I started trading real money. So there's a lot of potential here to make money. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about my strategy. So this is, on this chart, the micro E-mini S&P 500. It's a great thing to trade. It has pretty good movement, but not as much risk as something like the NASDAQ, which has, it trades at $2 a point. And it can move, a couple hundred points in a day. So there's a lot of money that can be made there. This will move, 50 points in a day maybe. It trades at $5 a point, which sounds like more, but it doesn't trade as many points in a day because obviously the price isn't as high. So I'm going to get on here and talk a little bit more about my strategy and how I prepare in the morning. It's easy to get on here, before you even go to work and make $50 or even more. So what I do is I like trading the 3-minute chart. It's not as fast as the 1-minute chart, but not as slow as the 5-minute or some of these longer time frames. But what I like to do is assess the 15-minute. I come on here in the morning and see what the market has done and what levels we're looking at. Obviously, we hit this low here, and we kind of rejected it off of it here in the overnight session. By the way, these trade, I think, around 23 hours a day. They close for an hour, but versus the stock market that trades from 9:30 to 4 Eastern time. For me, that's 8:30 to 3. So I like to trade in the pre-market hours because it's not as volatile. There's not as much movement. It's a little more predictable because a lot of time it's just algorithms buying and selling. And people start coming in once the market opens. And you can see that at this 8:30 mark. So I like to look at these moving averages. They kind of just tell you, what direction the market's going. This is a 200 period, so it's a little bit larger and doesn't move as quickly. So it, when it's flat like this, it's just kind of a flat day. But we're in a downtrend right now because you can see this 200 is pointing down, as well as the 50 and the 20. And the 50 and the 20 are below the 200. So that's a good indication this thing is going down a good bit. So on the 15, we're holding this level pretty well. So I might put a line there just so I know. It might not go up above that. It might, but if it does, it'll probably just retest it. So I trade what they call price action, basically seeing what the candles are doing. Also trade support and resistance here. This down here would be support because it's holding that level. This would be resistance because it's not going any higher. It's not breaking through this level. And this was support yesterday, but it turned into resistance once it broke it. So support becomes resistance when it's broken. That's something that you need to remember. And that's a great way to trade. So obviously we know the direction. Now we need to look for a trading opportunity. So I'm typically up, 6:30 or so my time. And market opens at 8:30. And I look for stuff to trade. Sometimes, once I get everything drawn out, I might miss an opportunity like this. Move here. But as you can see, we've got some buy and sell zones. This sold right here. That's a big move from this area. It kind of consolidated here and then went down. And then it started to form support right here. And then it moved up, and then came back and then made a decent move here. So we can see that this is a buy zone. And then this came up here to another support level, this was support, broke it, it became resistance. So this is a resistance level. It came back down into here. I thought there was news at this point, typically around 7:30, some sort of report comes out, but I don't think that was the case. This was on Friday, but it came here into this buy zone and had a nice wick on this 3-minute candle here. And so if you don't know how to read candles, basically this line, this is a bearish candle. It's red, so that means it was going down. That's where it opened up. And then 3 minutes later it came down. This is the low part here, this wick, and then closed at this level. Same thing with these green candles. Those are bearish candles. It opened up here. It went down a little bit and then closed here. That was the high point. And so once this closed, I can see that some buying came in right here. And so I want to get in at that point. And so that's what I would have done on this trade at 37.17. And I rode that up until, it would go to this next level here, this sell level, as we can see from before. And I probably would have gone for just below that at 20 points. So 37.17 here, up to here to 37.37. That's 20 points. That's $100. In 751, 818, was that 27 minutes? So $100 in less than 30 minutes. I do that before I go to work, and I'm not, super consistent with it. Sometimes I lose, which here I would put in a stop loss at probably just below, maybe the $15 mark. So that's 2 points. That's risking $10. So risking $10 to make 100. That's a 10 to 1 risk to reward ratio. And that's pretty good odds. And that's one reason I like this strategy, because you're wanting to look for where the buying and selling pressure is. If you're just entering wherever, you're basically just gambling. Like, some people, they like to use different indicators, or, sometimes they'll do something off a moving average, which I like to do too. They can have merit, but I like to use indicators for a little bit more confirmation. But what I really like trading is these zones, because that's where all the big money is looking. And you want to trade with the big money. It's not the small people, the average trader that's moving the markets. It's the institutions, the banks that are putting their money in the markets. And so that's where I want to follow. And typically I try to do that pre-market because it's not as volatile. Now, here at 8:30 where the market opens, you can see a big drop, and then it goes up, and then you got these big wicks here. It's undecided about where it's going, and then it finally goes down, and you can make some big money. I mean, if you shorted this here at $39, or yeah, $37.39, took it all the way down to here. That's 35 points. That's $175, I think. And then if you held it all day, that's obviously a lot more, but I typically don't hold for that long just because I'm not able to watch the charts all day. Yeah, this is the strategy that I use, and I'm really just making this video because I know a lot of people looking to make some extra money, and this is a pretty easy way to do it. Once you learn how and are comfortable with it, I recommend trading demo for a couple months just so you get used to the strategy, you get used to how the market moves, and you get used to risk. Because if you're just losing money on every single trade, you're going to blow your account, you're going to lose a lot of money. But when you know risk management and when you know how to win, then you can make some good money. And I like to call it micro investing because you're doing quick trades with small amounts of money versus long-term investing and holding and waiting years to get a return on your investment. You can make much higher percentages in these quick movements than you can just holding this stuff for a long time. And so I'm going to be making more videos like this. I may open up a Discord chat room in the future if I've got enough interest from different people, because I know people that are wanting to get into investing in some way. They're wanting to learn the stock market. And for me, I like futures because I can trade the same thing every single day. I don't have to go looking for a stock that might be moving that day. I can go on here and use these principles of support and resistance and these buying and sell zones. But this is just for informational purposes. I'm not a professional, I'm not licensed or anything like that, but this is how I trade. And maybe it will spark some curiosity in you to learn a little bit more about it and how you can make quick money like this in just a few minutes. So until next time, thank you.